It's time to examine the arguments for and against confirming Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. Republicans are saying that Gorsuch is a universally respected judge whose views almost always concur with the majority and whose decisions are almost always upheld by higher courts. Democrats are saying that Gorsuch is a stinky doo-doo head whose mother wears funny shoes and who probably kisses girls and gets cooties. Republicans point out that Gorsuch is an originalist who tries to find the meaning of the law as it was written rather than twisting the Constitution into the image of his own personal or political opinions. Democrats say, holy crap, if he does that, we'll never get to do any of the things we want. Also, the Constitution is a stinky doo-doo head. Republicans say elections have consequences, and Donald Trump has selected a justice from a list he made public long before he won the presidency, so the voters had a full chance to vet and approve of his choice. Democrats say Donald Trump wouldn't have won the presidency if it weren't for the Russians and the Electoral College, and he cheated, and it rained that day, and it was so dark no one could see who they were voting for, and the dog ate all the good people's votes, and shut up, shut up, shut up, you stink. Republicans point out that no one has ever used the filibuster to block a Supreme Court nomination, and to do so on what are purely partisan political grounds would be both dangerous and un-American. Democrats say we can't hear you because we have our fingers in our ears and we're singing "I've been working on the railroad" very loudly. Republicans say we understand Democrats are incensed that we didn't allow the nomination of a lame duck president to reach a vote, but there is a difference between playing hardball politics and shutting down the entire country by having a childish tantrum because you didn't get what you wanted. Democrats say we're going to dig a hole and cover it over with newspaper, then cover the newspaper with dirt so the Republicans will walk on it and fall in the hole and break their legs, and then we'll laugh. Republicans say accepting Supreme Court justices appointed by your political opponents is a difficult but necessary part of a two-party democratic system, and you have to. Democrats say we don't want to accept them. We don't want to, and we won't. Republicans say, look, you can't just, Democrats say, we're going to hold our breaths until our faces turn blue and kick our heels on the floor and scream until everyone does what we want. Republicans say, actually, you can't hold your breath and scream at the same time. Democrats say that's not fair, you're never fair, you always cheat, you stink, we hate you, we're running away from home. The debate will continue until the vote later this week or until Democrats are sent to their rooms without supper, whichever comes first. Trigger warning, I'm Andrew Klavan, and this is The Andrew Klavan Show.
I feel hunky-dunky, life is tickety-boo. Birds are winging, also singing hunky-dunky-doo. Ship-shaped, tipsy-topsy, the world is zippity-zing. It's a wonderful day, hurrah, hooray! It makes me want to sing. Oh, hurrah, hooray! Oh, hooray, hurrah!
You know, my brother and I actually did that when we were kids. We dug a hole in our backyard and we covered it over with newspaper and we sprinkled dirt in it. So help me, this is true. And our neighbor from across the way came across and fell right into it. And, my father was very, very unhappy about that. We were just doing it as a joke. We didn't think anyone was going to walk on it. But there it was. All right, a new sponsor and one that I have been using for years, proflowers.com. I have been using it for years because for me, for someone like me, holidays are it's like being in a horror movie. You know how in a horror movie, the guy is walking down the street, jaunty jolly, and suddenly, out jumps the guy with a knife and he's running around. For me, I'm walking along, I'm thinking my philosophical thoughts, I'm writing something in my head, and suddenly Valentine's Day is coming, my wife's anniversary is coming. So I go to proflowers.com to make up for the fact that I stink, basically, at being a husband. And the thing is, I have a great wife. My wife would never say, oh, you didn't get me flowers, or you forgot Valentine's Day. She would just never say it, which makes it worse, right? Because that means you've got to actually do it. So proflowers.com, incredibly easy website. You go on, you can just see right in front of you what you're going to get. Right now, they have a special offer just for our listeners where you get $10 off any purchase of $29 or more. And it works on all the best-selling gifts like 100 blooms bouquet, a dozen red roses, or even their totally unique plants. It really is terrific. And the thing is, they guarantee, this is kind of amazing, they guarantee that the flowers you get will be fresh for 7 days or your money back. They have a 7-step quality check, which means the flowers are always awesome. And it's just, it's not just your wife. You can get it for someone else's wife. No, don't do that. You can get it for friends. Everybody likes getting flowers. Even I like getting flowers. Do yourself a favor, and you can help out the show by going on and putting in the code AK. Go to proflowers.com and enter the code AK. Even my listeners can remember that. AK at the checkout to get a special deal. Right now, you get $10 off your purchase of $29 or more at ProFlowers, and the deal will not last long. So go on and get them now and enter your code AK, and that helps us because they know we sent you. All right. So the mailbag is tomorrow. And it's the last mailbag because I am gone the week after that. I'm gone for Holy Week into Easter, and I'll be in England, so I can't answer your questions. So if you have problems, you can have them solved now, or you're stuck with them until I come back, which, who knows what could happen by then. You have to go on and subscribe to the Daily. Can they be in the mailbag even if they don't subscribe for the year? Yeah, nobody knows any. I'm asking. They say, who are you? Why? How did you get in our room? No, but yes, you don't have to subscribe for the year, but you subscribe for a month. It's a lousy $8. You can ask any question you want. The answers are guaranteed 100% correct and will change your life possibly for the better. So that's tomorrow, and the last one for a while. An amazing, amazing cover-up is underway. John Nolte, we had him on a couple of days ago to talk about the press. He's a great media observer, and his Twitter handle is CNN is Hitler. But CNN isn't Hitler. CNN is Nixon. ABC, CBS, NBC, they're Nixon. They cover up everything, and they are lying. We had this story on. We started yesterday. It was just breaking as we came on the air yesterday that Susan Rice, we now know, was asking for stuff to be unmasked, for names to be unmasked, American names on surveillance, and was looking into specifically conversations with the Donald Trump transition team and the Trump team that had nothing to do with the investigation into Russia. This had nothing to do with the investigation into Russia. The Daily Caller is now reporting that Susan Rice, this is former President Barack Obama's national security advisor, Susan Rice, ordered U.S. spy agencies to produce detailed spreadsheets of legal phone calls involving Trump and his aides when he was running for president, according to former U.S. Attorney Joseph DeGenova. What was produced, this is DeGenova talking, what was produced by the intelligence community at the request of Miss Rice were detailed spreadsheets of intercepted phone calls with unmasked Trump associates in perfectly legal conversations with individuals. Now look, I'm not saying that what she did was illegal. It's not illegal for somebody, a national security advisor, to have names unmasked. But the way it was done and the fact that it all started in July when Trump started to become a threat, it's very, very, very suspicious. It's a big, big story. And the fact that she lied about it. We played the cut yesterday. She lied. She said, I knew nothing. She was on TV today on MSNBC. This was just happening as I was coming to work. Not cut 5, but the later cut. Number 15.
This is not anything political has been alleged. The allegation is that somehow Obama administration officials utilized intelligence for political purposes. That's absolutely false. Let me explain how this works. I was a national security advisor. My job is to protect the American people and the security of our country. That's the same as the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, the CIA director. And every morning, to enable us to do that, we receive from the intelligence community a compilation of intelligence reports that the IC, the intelligence community, has selected for us on a daily basis to give us the best information as to what's going on around the world.
She goes on to say that, she says, I leaked nothing to no one, she says. Now remember, this is the woman who went on 5 morning Sunday shows and lied about Benghazi, right? This is a woman whose credibility is already in the crapper. So we have no obligation to believe a word that she says. So let's just play this out because this is genuinely amazing, okay? Mike Cernovich is, I think he's kind of a kook. He's an alt-right guy. He's the guy who spread a lot of that Pizzagate thing where Hillary Clinton was secretly running a child sex ring out of a pizza parlor. People yelled at me when I said the story was garbage. The story was garbage. I researched it down to its sources. It was absolute nonsense. And people were literally writing me saying, are you telling me that anchovies isn't code for child porn? Yes, it's code for anchovies. People put anchovies on their pizza. So Cernovich is a little bit of a kook. Cernovich broke the Susan Rice story before Maggie Haberman of the Times or before Eli Lake, I think his name was, at Bloomberg, right? Cernovich broke it. How did he break it? You have to listen. This is an amazing piece of video. Here's Cernovich talking about how he broke the story and where his sources were.
Maggie Haberman had it. Maggie Haberman had it. She will not run any articles that are critical of the Obama administration. Eli Lake had it. He didn't want to run it, and Bloomberg didn't want to run it because it vindicates Trump's claim that he had been spied upon. And Eli Lake is a never Trumper. So Bloomberg was a never Trump publication. So I'm showing you the politics of real journalism, okay? Real journalism is that Bloomberg had it, the New York Times had it. They wouldn't run it because they don't want to run any stories that will make Obama look bad or that will vindicate Trump. They only want to run stories that make Trump look bad. So that's why they sat on it. And so where did I get the story? I didn't get it from the intelligence community. That's the big joke about this. Everybody's trying to figure out where I got it from. I got it from somebody who works in one of those media companies. I have spies in every media organization. So people think now, oh, I must have got it from Deep State. I must have got it from who are my sources in the administration. I got people in newsrooms. I got it from a source within the newsroom who said, Cernovich, they're sitting on this story. They're not going to run it. You can run it.
So kooky conspiracy blogger Cernovich gets the story because he has sources in the newsroom. And now the story has been confirmed all over, so he's right. He scooped them because they wouldn't run it. The guy, I mean, just like the, Woodward and Bernstein had sources in the government, now bloggers have sources in newsrooms to get the story, to pry stories out if they happen to make the Obama administration look as bad as it was. That's an amazing turnaround. That is amazing. Don Lemon is on CNN declaring defiantly that he's not going to tell you the truth, declaring defiantly that he will not report the story.
Today, it's a claim that President Obama's former national security advisor, Susan Rice, unmasked the names of Trump associates. We will talk about that in detail in just a moment on this very program. And last week, it was a debunked talking point that former Obama administration official Evelyn Farkas admitted spying on the Trump team. She did no such thing. The week before that, it was Representative Devin Nunes' clumsy effort to give the president cover for wiretapping claims. The president said he was vindicated by Nunes. He was not. The Washington Post today calls the latest claims about Susan Rice anatomy of a fake scandal ginned up by right-wing media and Trump. So let us be very clear about this. There is no evidence whatsoever that the Trump team surveilled or was spied on illegally. There is no evidence that backs up the president's original claim. And on this program tonight, we will not insult your intelligence by pretending otherwise, nor will we aid and abet the people who are trying to misinform you, the American people, by creating a diversion. Not going to do it.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. The great boss has spoken.
That's the latest CNN reporter. You pay no attention to the scandal. Now, let's stop for just a second. Let's stop. Susan Rice hasn't been caught doing anything illegal. We don't know that she's the one who leaked Mike Flynn's name, which is a felony. We do not know who did this, but a lot of stuff is piling up. So just think about this for a minute, right? Let's pretend you're an actual real-life reporter, not somebody who works for ABC or CBS or NBC or CNN or the New York Times, but an actual journalist, somebody who wants to get the truth. And now you've got what looks like the tail end of a thread of a story that maybe the President of the United States, maybe some of his highest people were spying on the political opposition. You have got the story of the decade. This is a bigger scandal than Watergate before the cover-up. That was just a break-in to spy on other that was an actual break-in to spy on another candidate. This is using the intelligence services to spy on other candidates. This is a big story. You've got suddenly nobody cares. No, Don Lemon is just going to tell you there's no proof, there's no evidence. Don, that's your job. That's your job, is to find the evidence, to be so on fire for the truth that no matter where it leads, you follow it. Not to tell you, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. Not happening. Forget it. It's not. We know. This is insane. The press has become, and so I was worried. I talked last week about the things that I was worried about Trump and how they all came true, but they didn't come true as badly as I thought they would. And one of the things I was worried about Donald Trump is that his bad behavior would give credibility back to the media that had sold its credibility to cover up for Obama. I was afraid that Trump's behavior would be so bad that they would make the mainstream media look good again. Instead, the mainstream media has acted so badly that they're giving credence to guys like Cernovich, that they're making conspiracy theorists look good compared to them. I got to say goodbye to Facebook and YouTube, but come on over to thedailywire.com, hear the rest of the show, and subscribe for a lousy $8 a month, and you can be in the mailbag tomorrow.